welcome back to another episode of Getting Lippy. I'm Emma Coney Bear, and this is the home of everything entertainment and showbiz news, brought to you by Slingo. And joining me on the show today, we've got Adam, our first ever guy on our show. We haven't had a guy before, which is great because later on in the show, we always have dilemmas where we need your advice, and it's normally dating dilemmas, so it's so good to have a male's perspective on this.
Nervous, I'm on.
No, this is going to be really good. And Julie, how are you doing today?
I'm good, thank you.
Back for more showbiz news.
Exactly.
Join the fun on Slingo. Enjoy a £50 welcome bonus. Play over 3,000 vibrant Slingo games. Age 25 and over. Be gamble aware. For more information, visit begambleware.org. So let's just dive into you, Adam. Let's take it right back. So you did Love Island. What season did you do on that one?
So I did 2018, which is season number 4.
Oh, wow. That was when it was really big and popular.
Anyone on the street is always like, because it's like the Chris and Ken were before me, and Olivia Atwood. They're like
that
the
was
best.
like the best one. I think like season 3 was really, really good, but then it kind of just went up.
There was us, which was like me, Wes, Jack Fincham, Danny Dyer, all of them. And then there was the big one, Molly, May, Tommy.
Oh, yeah.
And then I think after that,
it kind of just went downhill a bit. No, but it definitely did peak those kind of seasons, because like you had Josh Denzel, and then you guys, when you came off of it, like you're still doing things now. Like Olivia Atwood's still doing things now. Like Kem is, and Josh is doing great.
I saw Alex and Olivia
you know,
from season 2 the other night, and they were always really nice to me when I moved down like Essex, and like I loved them. They were a class couple. And they're still going strong. Like,
still
fingers
going.
And a lot of pies.
Oh,
but
that's
in
good.
a different way. Like obviously, you've got kids, got a house, but they're really cool.
And they've got French bulldogs as well. We was talking about Frenchies because I'm going to get one in the new year, and anything to do with Frenchies now. I'm like, there we go. I'm absolutely sold. So you came on as the love bomb, wasn't it?
Yeah. So it was. I think it was either number 11 or number 13. They put 5 boys, 5 girls in, made them really happy, gave it a couple of hours, and then no one knew what was going to happen. And then I was the first bombshell. So,
first ever. What did it feel like how did it go in terms of like the producers saying, oh, we're going to get you on the show, you're going to be a love bomb, like it's going to be great? So
what was weird is everyone, when you go into the villa, before you go and you're in lockdown for a week, and this is even before the COVID years as well. So you still are isolating. So for example, I remember all of my friends texting us for a Sunday bank holiday, which is a big thing in Newcastle. Everyone goes out. And I was like making up excuses saying I'm sick, whereas really I knew I was flying to Love Island.
Did you tell anybody?
Yeah, I had like 2 friends, my dad, my stepmom, but like everyone else to like tell as little people as possible, because if it comes out, you're cut. So you do really take it seriously.
Wow.
So basically, long story short, you have a week period where you are sat in a hotel or a villa in the middle of nowhere. And I was in this weird hotel that was full of German cyclists, and I had no I had no sort of, I didn't know what was going on back home. No phone. They already take your phone off as soon as you fly out. And the first kind of like, I'll never forget the first kind of insight of stardom or fame or anything like that was, I saw this like German guy over the other side of the pool, had no phone, was just like chilling, trying to eat healthy food because I was like going to have my abs out for the next 8 weeks. And he had the paper, and it was Harry Kane on the front, Harry Kane on the back, the sports bit, and then it was me and Hayley Hughes on the left. And I was like, wow, this is way bigger than I thought.
Oh my God.
And that was like the first thing where it like sunk into my head, and I was like, wow, there's no turning back. Yeah.
Wow. Did the producers and ITV, did they kind of drop in who's going to be coming onto the show? Because like you said, like you had no idea, and it was just in the newspapers.
No, but there's always whispers, because there's always a few people that get leaked. For example, like I was under wraps because I was a PT in Newcastle before Love Island, but like Danny Dyer got leaked. Then I think like maybe one of the boys, maybe it was Josh, because because he was Lad Bible.
Oh yeah,
so
that's
like
probably
anyone who's got a little bit of
to
kind
jump
of
on the back
stardom,
of that.
I was I think EL had 40,000 followers, something like that.
Yeah.
So a few people do, a few people don't, but I did not know I was getting put in that role.
Oh my God.
like that. I did not know I was going to be the first.
Were you
bombshell
nervous
at
when
all.
you actually walked in? I mean, I would be absolutely bricking it. First of all, I would bricking it to see my face on a newspaper, and then after that, be like, oh my God, I've actually got to walk on the show now.
I think like I always try and what I kind of do is I psych myself up and I try and act like I'm calm and cool and collected. But no one walking into that villa is like that once you actually get at the front door. I remember walking in being like, oh my God, everyone's going to be like 6'5", like absolutely jacked. I'm going to be like the worst one in shape and stuff like that. And I was like, I was actually really intimidated. And then I walked in and then it's kind of like, I don't know, jumping into water, I suppose. As soon as you kind of have done it, you're fine.
Do you like just forget about all the cameras and you just became like your normal self on there? Or do you feel as though that people did kind of protect themselves? I think now the later Love Islands, people are very protected in their personality. Like, oh, you know, don't go erratic and argue. But do you feel like when you went in there, you was completely as real as possible?
I think that there's elements of you being... The first time I went on, it was definitely a lot more real.
Yeah.
I think people were a lot more authentic, and I think that now it's out of your control. You self-produce even when you don't want to self-produce. It's kind of I think in the back of people's heads, they're trying to think like, if I'm one of the 4 that go really big now, like I need to watch what I say.
Yeah.
I think girls and boys like going in there. I say this all the time. You could meet the love of your life in there, but if you have if you've came in late and you've seen tweets or something online that's negative about that person, you still, I think people going into Love Island now would still choose the smart decision, even though that person's perfect for them. And I think that's why now the show will never do what it did in 3, 4 and 5.
Yeah.
Because I think back then we just didn't care.
Yeah, I think
the
people's
arguments
reactions
really
were
real.
raw as well. You know, there was jealousy. I can always remember, who was it? She had brown hair. Oh God, she went into she came back in the last season. Who am I?
Katie McDermott.
Yeah, because I can always remember when she had one of those really jealousy, psycho sort of like arguments in the room. Was she with Molly May as well?
No, she was with Scott Thomas back
Yeah,
in the
I know.
day.
Yeah. That was it.
And
I
then
remember.
she came back on with Uzi, who I met the other night, who's a really, really nice guy. But I can't remember the last series.
Yeah.
Because I was the first person to go back in, she was the second. There was a massive thing about it. But I haven't seen Katie, even though I know her, but I'd be very interested to see what she said, because I didn't enjoy the second one as much as the first.
Oh, did you not? Why?
I think that just the element of like surprise is not there as much, and the gimmicks and the fun stuff and the bit of a buzz wasn't there. And I think because of what I already had on the outside, I was more stressed about what was going on, even more so. The first time I was like, I don't really have anything to hold back, because worst case scenario, I'm happy to go back to work.
Yeah.
I had a great life.
What were you doing before?
So I had the gym. I had the first gym, and I was personal training 12 hours a day, every day, but like loved it and still kind of do.
So you didn't mind.
So I didn't really care, and I think that's why they put me in that role, because I think a lot of people they were really after something, whereas I didn't really care about what I said as much. And they got us at a really good time. I had my most serious girlfriend at like 20 or 22, broke up with her after a couple of years, but I was in that prime position on post-breakup where they're going to put this guy in and like he's not going to want to take anything really seriously. And they were smart with it, they really were.
So what was the reasons for you to go in the first time and then to go back and do it again?
So I think...
Love or money?
So I think there was like a 6-month period where I was single, and I think that I kind of thought, what have I got to lose?
Yeah.
I was probably still a little bit bothered about it, even though it was me that kind of killed the relationship off. But it was a lot more mutual. Like, you know, like we were on good terms when we kind of broke up. But I just thought, what have I got to lose? I'm 22. Kind of the gym's taken care of. Yeah.
Isn't it?
Well, the mad thing is, and this is one thing that really frustrates us, is when I was 22, and Laura Anderson is one of my best friends out of the show, so she won't mind us saying this, but when I was 22 and Laura was 30, no one had a problem with her coming on to me, because she thought I was going to pick her at one point.
Yeah.
As in, like, if we got together.
Yeah.
But then flip it on its head, when I was 26 and Gemma Oden was 20 or 19, everyone was like losing their minds. And by the way, I was never into Gemma at all.
Yeah.
Like, she's a lovely person, but the fact that that was exactly the same, it was just such double standards.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of that. I do, yeah. I think for an older, yeah, I don't know. It's so weird. It is weird when you think about it. I mean, I wouldn't have seen it as so much of a problem, but I think maybe because Gemma was not even 20.
Yeah, I think
that's what it is. Because it's almost like you class them as like, 18,
Teenager.
just over.
Or to be fair, that is what I was doing in my head. Like, she was great, but it was very much like platonic, you know?
Oh, that's fair enough.
And can I ask as well, how were you first asked to go under the show? Did you apply, or did producers headhunt you for it?
So I got headhunted in a bar in Newcastle when I was 19 for Geordie Shore. And whoever the guy was, what are they called? Like casting team?
Yeah.
He must have moved from Lime Pictures, which is MTV, which is Geordie Shore, to ITV. And he followed us on Instagram from meeting us in the bar. The bar's called Empress. It's really famous in Newcastle. Bijou Empress. You'll know exactly which one.
What is it?
You know Bijou?
Yeah, I've been there.
Geordie Shore.
I used to love going out in Newcastle. Yeah.
They found me at 19, and I think, to be fair, I was a lot younger then, and also I had a girlfriend who was the girl that I was talking about, who I was with for like 2 years.
Yeah.
Anyway, didn't realise that this casting, when the casting team have a picture saying casting on their Instagram page, he must have followed us the full time and said, oh, are you single now? And I was like, funnily enough, I am, but I don't want to do Geordie Shore because I have a gym and fitness is my thing, and I don't want to drink. And he was like, it's not Geordie Shore, I'm doing Love Island. If you come to London on Tuesday, there might be a chance of you getting on. And I think I had 10 weeks notice after that.
Oh my God, so they kind of just like fast tracked you.
Yeah.
Wow. I was going to say, why didn't you want to do Geordie Shore, but like the fitness?
The thing is, I think back in the day, like, you've got Gary, Charlotte, Marnie, who I had on, they were the amazing ones.
Yeah.
It's not what it used to be, but it's the same as Love Island, isn't it?
I still think Geordie Shore was probably one of the best reality shows out there, and that was just because they were just so real and just themselves. There weren't any real storylines. Yeah, okay, fine. Like, they had tasks to do and they had to go and work, but like them on a night out, like them when they're back, like there's no like constructed storylines. It's just them. They want to do a food fight, they're going to do a disgusting food fight. I knew a cameraman that used to have to film the food fights. I'm like, why? Why would they do that? It's disgusting. So coming out the shows, obviously, like you said, when you went in there was a lot of press coming out the shows. There was press as well. I know that you kind of got a little bit of a bad press, and you kind of had a bit of a bad rep. How did you take that? Because it's probably just the same as like trolling as well. How did you manage their opinions, and you try not to play into what they are accusing you to be?
I think that you have to take everything with a pinch of salt, and I understand because I've watched Love Island after I've been on, and I've had opinions of people myself, and I thought, God, I wonder if they're getting what I got. And what I mean by that is my most famous argument was the Rosie argument, right? Which was the one where I was caught smiling. But that was a 4-minute segment that was really about an hour. And the reason for the smile, just like the boys behind the camera here, is Jack Fincham and Wes were laughing, being like, how are you going to get away from her? How are you going to get away from this argument? And they were taking the piss constantly, and they were laughing, and like literally Jack was sitting there eating Haribo watching us. And I was thinking, you're in my peripheral vision, even though I'm trying to take this girl seriously. And you know what? Like, I was empathetic for the fact of, like, I wasn't as much into her as she was into me. But if someone's got feelings for you, it's not nice. But at the same time, and this is literally the situation I was in. Imagine you go to a bar on a Monday night and you go to a bar on a Thursday night, and you've texted them both because you text the girl on Monday to go out on Saturday night because it was a week. That's the time difference. And then I met Zara on the 4 days after Rosie, and I preferred Zara. Like, me and Zara were together for 9 months after that. And it's as simple as that. In real life, you wouldn't get knocked for it. The only problem is mine is televised on TV. However, I will say that I would have liked to have been, I would have liked to shown a little bit more empathy at the time, but it's just really hard when you're in there, because I'll be honest, all of your mates are taking the piss around you. Like, they love when it's not them, because when it's you who the drama's on, everyone else is sitting watching. Like, they get the popcorn out, and then you're just hoping that it's not you next.
I can imagine it, to be quite honest. Like, and you can't get out the villa. That person's going to be in the villa with you. So, like,
Yeah, there's nowhere to hide.
Yeah, normally you can have an argument with somebody and be like, okay, fine, I'm not talking to you anymore. And you can just like give it like space. Like, you have to sleep next to them. And,
Right, the dating pool, right? Remember the 2 people you dated last. When on earth would you be in IKEA beds that are 6 inches apart?
No!
It was Rosie, me, Zora for 3 nights. I did not sleep a wink. like
My God.
like they put me
That's
in between the 2 of them.
true. I think also when you're younger and a female, like, and I don't mean to be like, you know, biased or anything like that, but I think when you're younger and a female, you don't have as much life stories and experiences. So when you like a guy, you're like, oh no, I like that person. You don't think that there's anybody else out there. So, and then you're in this villa and you want to keep it going. So you've got so much going on, like the pressure, the hormones, like the guy's sleeping in the bed next to you. Then there's a new girl. That must be such massive headfuckery.
It is, but right, everyone on Twitter, because I've looked back, were like, why is Adam so different on the second series to the first series, right? Well, I'm 4 or 5 years older.
Yeah, there's that.
And also, the girl that I picked first turns out to be the one that I like the most, the full time, and ended up in a relationship with. Whereas you put us on day 1, which they did in the first series, there was Kendall, who was a great, great girl, but she wasn't over the guy that she was engaged to. It was clear as day. She was like 4 years older than me, I think. And I found out when I was in there that she was engaged 3 months before the show.
Oh, with the person that
With
she's
the
just had a kid with now?
No,
Oh, no,
the
the different
person years
person.
ago.
I was
but
like,
what I'm saying is,
Yeah.
I kind of had to jump until I found Zara. And then we did end up together for ages. We lived together.
Yeah.
You lived together.
Yeah,
did
we
yous?
lived together for definitely 6 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you did you watch her on Strictly Come Dancing this year?
I didn't, but I mean, I'm not really a Strictly fan
Yeah.
anyway. I mean, it's not good for my self-esteem because I have 2 left feet, as it is.
Okay.
But no, I'm not a massive Strictly fan.
Yeah. So you've done Love Island twice. You've also done Celebs Go Dating.
Yeah.
I didn't actually watch you on that. I watched you on Love Island, but I didn't watch you on Celebs Go Dating. And I normally quite like Celebs Go Dating. Is it like a weird sort of scenario where you're basically trusting 2 people, or is it 3 people, to choose girls who they think that you should go on dates with?
I always have this debate of myself, because obviously my friends ask us, they're like, do you think there's more chance of you having something real with like Love Island or Celebs Go Dating? Now, obviously I ended up in relationships off Love Island, so there is that argument. But I think the main benefit of Celebs Go Dating is you can like go home after, speak to your real friends. Like my stepmom and my dad like knew about the girls that I was going on dates with. Whereas like when it was Love Island, I was away for 9 weeks at one point and they had no contact. I didn't see what was going on outside. But it is weird getting sent these people through time and time again who are apparently perfect for you on paper.
Really?
And I'm not going to lie, I really felt stitched up when obviously Autumn came on, who was my ex from, she wasn't an ex, she was a girl that like I had a holiday romance in LA. And then
How did they find her? Surely that's somebody going, has anybody dated Adam Collard? Like,
Chiswick.
hello?
But do you know what I mean? So I felt a little bit hard done by the fact, because I was like, I've kind of gave you that already. Obviously you're going to know there's going to be some sort of like history there, and obviously you know there's going to be some attraction at some point, but like they didn't know like how that ended in any, it was just a weird situation to be put in, you know?
Yeah. And also I think from the, what they called on Celebs Go Dating, the
Deities?
Dating app?
Yeah.
Deities. I didn't know what to call them either. And I know that sounds horrible, but I was like, what do I actually say here? But I've got to be honest, I think there's more chance with those, like Spuds is going out with the girl he met on the show.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he still is, and he's I think I saw him at the gym 2 weeks ago, and unless anything's happened in the last 2 weeks, I think he's going strong.
So so here's a little bit of a personal question. When you go out on a date with someone, obviously we know that you're taken with Laura Woods, which is the absolute babe, by the way. She's a great girl. when you go on like first dates with people, like, do you look for the looks? Do you look for the whole package? Is it like the chemistry? Is it sexual tension? Or is it just like, what gets you going?
Wow. What time does this podcast go out?
Oh,
You can listen
yeah.
to it any time.
Yeah.
I think for me,
Oh God.
I went through a lot of different phases of trying to differentiate how I should date because things didn't work. And I actually did look at one point and think, right, there is something I'm doing wrong because nothing seems to work in terms
Right.
of like, it gets a few months down the line. So anyway, what I'm going to say is the personality is a lot more important than what I probably realized when I was younger, obviously. I am a boy. I was an idiot when I was younger. I should have took that into consideration more. Look where I am now. Much better. But I would also say that for a lot of people, like, I don't personally think that if you have not got that initial attraction there from day one, I think the lemon law, I think you know within 60 seconds whether you're attracted to someone.
100%.
Yeah.
But then I never know whether or not it's like just sexual attraction. You know what I mean? And there's no depth to it.
No, I don't mean sexual attraction. Sexual attraction
It's
is
different.
completely different. I mean like that chemistry, how it flows.
Yeah.
I think you know straight away. Think about anyone that, for me anyway, that has been like half successful. I think I knew within the first couple of minutes.
Oh, I know straight away.
Yeah.
Like if that chemistry's
You know.
going there, like I get what you're saying. Good conversation, you're giggling, you're laughing.
You have
there's definitely
spark.
something
Yeah.
there. Right, here's a question. This is me just gonna ask you loads of guy questions now. Not just asking for a friend. If a female feels like there's a connection and chemistry, and how, like, surely you know that the guy feels that exactly the same. If they're bouncing off, or can guys fake it?
Right, this is I'm taken. Okay, I'm
Yeah.
taken, so I can give you the.
This is
Are you
brilliant.
single?
Yeah, yeah.
Right, I'm gonna give you a little
not
bit
saying
of
this
advice
happened
here.
to me,
As in, I personally think that men categorize women within the first 30 seconds, and this sounds
heard
absolutely
this.
horrible, right? But I'm gonna spill the secrets for all the women out there. Men will go, I do not want to have sex with this girl. I would have sex with this girl, but she's not quite who I want to take home, a mom, or this is marriage material. And those are the three categories. And that is how simple-minded we are.
Right, okay.
And that is
I've
me
heard
being real.
this.
And don't crucify us online
No,
because I'm
no, no,
trying
no.
to do you a favour. But I
heard
swear
this.
to God, that is how we think.
Okay, so another question on this. If guys see you in the third one, which is like, yeah, I could there's a future with you, but then they go, oh, I'm not quite ready for that, they will cut you dead. Ghost?
Say that again.
Right. So if they go, right, the first one, which is just like, what did you say? The first one was,
First one's like, I don't see anything. I don't even want to, like, I'm not attracted at all.
yeah, not attractive. Second one is just like
I'm attracted, but I don't see that being like
a fuck buddy, like a bit
yeah,
of
like,
fun. Like if it doesn't go anywhere.
not
like,
even that, like
really?
just as in like I don't see
see a
this being
future.
girlfriend material. Like, I don't see, and I hate saying material. Like I think
Yeah.
that's because I also think that people can kind of change that.
Yeah.
There's a few outliers.
And then the last one is like marriage material.
Yeah, I think so.
But if the guy isn't ready for the marriage material and they freak out, they run as well. It's true. Or they might just.
I don't think they would. I think they would. I think boys will pretty much show you if they're interested. I think there is very big telltale signs. For example, and I will give you.
Love this shit.
I will give you an example of a girl who is one of my best friends, and I
Yeah.
told her to just sack this boy off because he was wanting to meet her all these times,
Yeah.
but I could tell that it was like off-peak times of how many people he could be seen in public with, and I was like, he's hiding you, like, because the times that he's going out with you and the days, right? For example, right? If you're taking someone out at Nando's at 9 o'clock at night on a Tuesday night, you are not wanting to be seen with them, and that's low key compared to who are you spending your Sunday with going to the Christmas markets, right? When people are dating like that, you know how seriously you are getting taken by that. Boys are horrible.
Madness.
Boys are horrible.
And then what do you think of this whole love bombing thing?
Oh
do
my
guys
God.
do that as well?
100%.
That was a new thing that I actually saw a lot of recently, and I didn't really understand it too much. But I think it's a kind of a way to lock girls down quite quick. I don't know. I'm not really too sure.
So you're not a love bomber.
I think
I
the
honestly think I would make it remarkably clear whether I'm into you or not.
Yeah.
I think sometimes a little bit too bluntly and a little bit too rash, and I think that's what we've probably seen on TV.
And
a
that's
few
they
times.
class that as love bombing.
The class what?
They class that as love bombing. At the very beginning, if people are just like
Messaging
messaging every single day, like
wanting to
saying
see
how
all
much
the
they
time.
care about you, which is really hard now because the lines are blurred. For a female, you're like, oh my God, this is what I wanted. And then it's just like, oh shit, it's love bombing.
Right,
It's
no,
like,
but I'm going to flip this a little bit here.
Go on.
I think that in the past, honesty is the best policy, right?
Yeah.
That's one of the classic things that you hear all the time. And there has been people where I have point blank been like, look, I'm happy dating and whatever, but like, I'm not ready for anything right now. And like, this is
love
not serious
honesty.
for me. Yeah, but they go, oh, it's cool, it's cool, it's cool. 3 weeks down the line,
and
it's
they
not
got
cool.
invested,
It is not
emotionally
cool.
invested.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know. Yeah, but this is the problem because some females
I
are like
thought
that, and then
love-
some females aren't like that, and they're
Yeah.
just, they prefer the honesty, and then you can go, nah, it's all right, thanks, I'm good.
But I don't know. I thought love bombing was just being over the top nice, so the girl like is kind of made a thought out that
I think it's
They
like
were-
when people say too soon,
like they're saying
oh,
love
I
you,
love you, and
love
all of
you all the
this.
time, even though
Yeah.
they don't. They're just trying to like
Within 2
fast forward
weeks.
fast forward the relationship and kind of get them all to themselves. Does that make
Yeah.
sense? I
Yeah.
thought that's what that was.
I mean, I've been love bombed a couple months ago where like the guy would say, oh, wow, this is amazing. Let's do this on a date. Let's go here. Let's do this. And like never fell through. But because I'm not stupid and I've heard this fucking story so many times before, like you don't get emotionally invested in that. But I can understand why some girls could get emotionally invested into it. It's like, oh, wow, this is amazing. Like, this guy's going to do all this. I'm like, yeah, all right, then let's just see your actions before, anything else. But it is a weird one. So now you and Laura, well, how did you guys meet? Did you slide into her DMs or like, what's the story? What's the DL?
She dug me out for this not too many nights ago. So I definitely followed her first. So the funny part of the story is, for a football fan as well,
Yeah.
I actually didn't know who she was, but I knew who she was, as
Yeah.
in I recognized her and knew her face, but I didn't know that was Laura Woods in terms of that. So I went in for a podcast just like this to the
Yeah.
Sun. She walked past me and the girl that was chaperoning us through was like, oh, that's Laura Woods. And I was like, but she had her back turned to us. She was like miles behind us. Fast forward like months and months and months later, I'd followed her on Instagram because I'd seen a Lionesses game or something
Yeah.
like that. And then I DM'd her because she put like a funny meme on her story. I will hold my hands up. Yes, I acknowledge that, even though she's had my life about this a lot of times. And then it was a few messages back and forth, but nothing actually came about until quite recently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so
So
cute.
It was but honestly, like I think, like I said to you, I knew within the first 60 seconds it was like a little bit different.
Yeah.
I knew something more was going to happen. And also as well, though, I knew that I was going to act differently, and that's the most important thing. I think if someone has that effect on you like before that, I wasn't bothered. I wasn't bothered
Yeah,
about the
it's
people I was
true.
meeting, and it's
Yeah.
not that they're not nice people, but they just didn't have that pull
Yeah.
over us. I
So-
wasn't 100% interested.
So you think she like brings out the better side of you then?
Yeah, but of course, because it makes me wanna. I actually consider her feelings. I consider and compromise and all
Yeah.
of those things that I wouldn't have done with other people.
Yeah.
But subconsciously, if I'm being honest, I didn't realize I wasn't doing that before.
Yeah.
I just thought like, oh, that's just not the person for me.
And you don't take her to Nando's on a Tuesday night at 9 o'clock?
If we're hungover, no, I don't. I definitely don't. But what I mean is, it's like, I just knew it was different straight away.
Yeah.
Yeah, even the first time I met her.
Oh, that's so cute. Yeah, definitely. And I think, like I said, she's an absolute babe, and she's definitely like somebody like not to mess with. She's also very strong in her own mind and how she is interviewing other football pundits. And so did she say to you, like at the beginning, like, right, no messing around here. Like, I know I've heard a bit of bad rep from previous years, and she was,
I think that she definitely knew there was more to me than what was on the TV.
yeah.
And
Yeah,
I think
100%.
that she took the TV with a pinch of salt. I mean, the frustrating thing was that we met after the show, but the show is obviously filmed almost 6 weeks behind. So imagine
Yeah.
starting something like that. It was really, and we just laughed about it.
Yeah.
And I knew that it was going to be different because of that.
I
'cause
suppose
she
she could have taken it a different way,
Yeah.
watching celebs go dating and then just being like, whoa, you
Honestly, if anything, she was cooler than me, and it was me that
Yeah.
was going, oh my God, am I going to get through this? Like, it's still getting posted online, and now I'm really into this girl,
Yeah.
and how do I kind of distract her from it?
Yeah.
know? Oh, that's
Um,
good.
So it was like that, but no, there was never any real doubt.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's good. Well, I'm happy.
I'm happy.
I'm happy for you. So Adam, what's next? What's on the cards? What have you got going up into Christmas? Any more reality TV shows?
Well, definitely no dating ones.
Yeah, you're done.
I'm done with that.
They're
Third
good.
time lucky.
Yeah.
I think that there's obviously ones that I would want to do.
Go on.
I would obviously want to do I'm a Celebrity. I think that's
So
class.
good.
Also SAS, which is a similar sort of vibe.
Have you not done that one? Yeah, I
No.
think you'll be so good at that.
Yeah.
I think that's the
definitely.
one that you did sound really Australian there. We had a bit of a laugh,
Told
didn't
ya.
you?
I'm telling you. I'm so sorry that I thought you were
No,
Australian,
no,
and I've known you a
little-
few months now, so that's
I
really
know.
embarrassing.
I'm not Australian at all.
But anyway, Australian TV shows. Well, one's based in Australia. I'm a Celeb. I would do SAS. Who Dares Wins. I
Yeah.
would love, for me, like I've even said to the, I said to my agent, I was like, I don't even want to be on the Celeb version. Just put us in the
In.
mix. I would want to do it just to see if I could mentally get through it.
I think it'll be harder anyways.
Yeah, exactly.
I think than the celebrity one. But with the SAS, I would be like, is it going to be in the winter? Is it going to be in the cold countries or the warm countries? Because you saw the ones that Wes did in Scotland and they were
Yeah.
like in the sea. No.
Was
it
that
freezing.
COVID? Was that year? Because I think that
Yeah.
might have been why it was there. But
It
I'm not
might
entirely
have
sure.
been.
Because I've heard of
know.
ones that are like in Costa Rica or something.
I know,
like-
those look
If
so
they,
good.
They can sign me up with that one anytime. You know.
Give me a jungle bit of warm weather. Yeah, no, that'd be good. There was quite a few though, which were in the UK
Yeah.
that was just freezing. I just didn't do that. Have you got any like fears, like in terms of
Do you know what?
jumping out a helicopter or walking across a road between two canyons? I mean, I would crap my pants. But
The thing that I always laugh at is with I'm a Celeb, I personally think that I look at all the challenges and my worst one would be day one where you have to jump out of the helicopter.
yeah, I don't think
Because
Yeah.
I'm not great with heights.
That's me as well.
I think if I got a little bit of a nudge, I would get out. But
it's
yeah.
the one, isn't it, when they're standing on the side? I don't
Yeah,
think they
the
did it
building.
this year, but last year they had to literally walk out. Like severe vertigo, you know, when your whole body just does, like you wouldn't be able to do that, which is mad. Even when I walk up a ladder, I always get a bit shaky.
Yeah.
But I used to be a cheerleader back in the day, and they used to chuck me up in the air. I used to be like, yeah, whatever. Like, but yeah, I think standing there is pretty crazy.
But then again, anyone who ever does jump out of a plane, they always say it's the best experience. As soon as they like touch the ground, they want to do it again. So I think I try and bear that in mind. But again, I am not great with heights either. So
No, Laura said that as well. She's jumped out of a plane, and I just think I'm not
Why?
going to do
People
that.
do- like
And-
bungee
but
jumps
did-
as well. Why do you want to put yourself at risk?
But
Why
did
do you want to
she-
die like that?
But did she enjoy doing the?
Yeah, she
the
said it was really
skydive?
good.
Yeah.
But like, I love the food on Emirates, so I'm fine staying and just having my airport meal.
Quite like being inside the planes, not on the
Yeah,
outside of the
unlimited
planes.
drinks is fine.
Yeah, right. Tell me about it. So this part of the show, we love to have a little bit of a chit chat. What's happening in the news? What's on TV? And of course, we've got our lovely journo, which is going to tell us all the goss, which is in the newspapers at the moment. But first of all, let's talk about I'm a Celebrity. I have to say, this has probably been one of the best lineups of celebrities that we've had in a very, very long while. Great personalities, good sort of like challenges that they've had, but then they've also had a lot of conversations and disputes in camp. What's been your opinion of I'm a Celebrity this year?
Yeah, I have enjoyed it. I know Adam, sorry, you haven't watched it. So, yeah, I have enjoyed it. I've watched some of it. I saw it last night. And as you say, I think there's quite a good variation of characters in
Yeah.
there. We spoke about Nella earlier, and I don't know, I'm starting to warm to her a wee bit now.
Yeah.
Because I can sort of see her starting to grow as a person. Like, for instance, last night she got 9 stars. while in the early days she was sort of quitting the trials very early. And that's what I like watching that show, is seeing someone having an arc, you know, that way.
Just for the reference, what we was discussing about Nella was the fact that Nella's very good at being very outspoken, and I respect that. I like people that have opinions, and especially if you've got somebody like Nigel Farage in the jungle, she's going to have her say, and that's absolutely fine to have your own opinion. But I think one thing that Nella, maybe, I don't know how old she is, but maybe it's just a little bit maturity, whereas you're going to have your point, you're going to say your bit, and then the mature thing to be like is like, cool, we're going to agree to disagree and leave it there. But she doesn't. And I think the thing that she's probably upsetting the public, noticing from the first night of almost being eliminated, she holds on to that argument and then she kind of sulks with it, or maybe she might spread it around the camp and other people gang up. And I just think people in the UK just don't like bullying, and it's just verging on the thing of that. But I agree with you. Like, I like her at the trials now that she's actually winning stars, but is it because it's the last week now and you're like, oh, I'm going to start winning stars? Because she doesn't need the limelight.
Like, if someone's sulking, it changes the whole dynamic of the villa. And if you're living with people, say your point, get it done, and let it go kind of thing. That's the only thing I've seen. I've been following on Twitter, and it's just been a couple of her key arguments, but I haven't seen too much. How was Tony Bellew? Because I love that guy.
My God, he's so hilarious. I freaking love that dude so much. Like, just want to be friends with him. It's just so funny.
Yeah, no, he's been doing well. He came in a bit late as well. So I also think it's a lot harder when you come in later because, you know, obviously you're new and you have to get your burns and stuff. But obviously as a boxer, he's going to have a lot of mental strength and be very, effective in there. But opinions,
though, on him and his new bromance with Sam Thompson. Now, Sam Thompson, he's a very energetic boy. He's got a good heart, but maybe a little bit over the top. And I almost feel like Tony's just slightly going, okay, you got to give me some space now.
Do you know what? I think that people like that, and correct us if I'm wrong here, but I think he did something quite good about opening up with ADHD or something like that.
He did, and he did a documentary on it as well.
I think you find quite often, and I will say this because I've got a couple of friends like this, if someone is like quite hyperactive and stuff like that, I think they actually end up with, you know, quite a stern, strong, masculine presence as well as a friend. Like him and Pete, if you look at him and Pete Wicks, are complete, like, I wouldn't say complete opposites as much as him and Tony, but I think that happens more than you think, you know? And I think that, you know, he's got a lot of energy. You're in a camp together.
But that's it. You can't get away with it, can you?
But I have to say, all the others seem to be taking it really well. Apart from Nala, the odd time she sort of chastises him a bit. But I think his heart's in the right place, and you know, he's such a likable, lovely guy as well.
Yeah, definitely. He's just, I think Sam's just got one of those innocent hearts that I don't think it's like a. And I don't mean to do it in any like negativity or disrespect, but it's almost just like a child when they're just like, they're so natural in what their reaction is that it's over the top, and he gives two shits about it. And he's just like, But I think the cam like gets it, you know?
You need someone in the, what's it called? In the camp like that though.
Completely.
And I think that's why the dynamic works so well this year, because you've got a politician like Nigel Farage. He's trying so desperately hard to be a bit like Man Hancock that was in last year. But I think the thing is with Nigel does GB News, right? He's very good at talking, and he's also, I think when you've been a radio presenter, I've been a radio presenter in the past, and I think you're very good at thinking what you're going to say, holding that in your mind, and then saying it, if you get what I'm saying. Like, instead of having a conversation whereas it's so natural, when you're saying something, you think, and I just feel like he's very, constructed in how he approaches.
That's the
definitely
thing. I think
but he almost sounds like he's acting with it sometimes, you know? And I'm like, are you really being sincere here?
But last night they were discussing though what's the worst thing that has ever happened to you when you're drunk. So everyone was saying their horror stories. But Nigel then said that he was knocked down once when he was drunk. And Josie, it made me laugh because she said, I have never met anyone like you. You've been in a plane crash. What's the other thing that happened to you? I think a car crash as well. And now you've been knocked down on a night out. So I think there's a lot more to him than meets the eye
Yeah.
on these wild nights out.
Well, you could have it that way, or have you not just? I watched a documentary on ITV, which was about this. Oh, what's it? The biggest Instagram con woman, where she said, "Oh, I've got brain cancer," and then she created like this. Like health app, and then she was like, "Oh, I've got brain cancer. I've got this, and now this is terminal." And everyone was, and then there was an interview at the very end when she actually got caught out, which is like, so you had a heart attack, you had open heart surgery, you had a brain tumor, and you were stage 4 cancer, and all of this. And she was like, "Well, yeah, it is true from what the doctors told me." But it is anyway, so it just kind of like felt as though like maybe Nigel was like, "Oh, well, I've done that too," just trying to get in. But
Yeah, no, I reckon he's telling the truth because I'm sure people can chase this up when he's in the limelight.
He'll be
unlike
wild
this
behind
girl.
the scenes.
Pardon?
He'll be wild behind the
think?
scenes.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
And he's got this much younger girlfriend as well. He has flown out to Australia.
hey, I tell you
so-
what, I've
Has he?
seen pictures of her. She's
Yeah.
really normal. She's really good looking. Like she's just like a really normal person. You're like, what? How?
Maybe he's a dark horse.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, a bit like Matt Hancock. He was a dark horse as well. Jeez.
But funnily though, Ant and Dec said that they would be interested in not having politicians on it maybe next year.
Why?
I don't
I
know.
quite like it.
Yeah, but I just think I think a lot of these politicians try to do it as a crossover to like win over the public and kind of quite manipulative, you know, that way.
Yeah, I get that a little bit, but I don't know. Like I think
Like they do bring in obviously
don't get
the
us wrong.
ratings, but
It's not like they've never done anything wrong, but I think that they are human as well.
yeah.
And maybe he just wants to change. Maybe he does want to show a different part of his character, you know?
Yeah, maybe, but I just feel, is that the way to do it? I don't think people can ever shake that off. Like, they just always remember them for...
Yeah, but I feel as like that when it comes to like people in politics, I quite like hearing their stories, especially with like Nigel Farage and Brexit, you know, like why did he really do it? Because you read it in the newspaper, but like when do you actually sit down, like ask people which like entertainment and gossip and watching reality TV, are we ever going to flick over to the politics channel and listen to what he has to say for himself?
No,
or you read it in a newspaper. So it is quite interesting to hear that side of things.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. It's a good way to sort of merge the two for people who don't watch politics.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And
But in saying that, I don't think he has spoke much about politics on that show.
Well, I don't know, because Fred went at him about Brexit.
Oh,
Did he?
did he?
Yeah, he
Especially him
did.
being
And
a
he said, why
Frenchman.
did we do Brexit? You know, and then Nigel Farage was basically saying, oh, you know, because we needed to be an independent country. And he was like, other things, you know, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But it was interesting because you had somebody like Fred that lives in our country, but is French nationality. He was just like saying his bit. And then even Nella as well. So I hope they don't, because I do like the mix on this so far.
Who would be your dream person on I'm a Celeb?
Oh, I don't know.
Does anyone ever get with each other like Peter Andre and Jordan back in the
See,
day?
that was back in the day when
That,
they used
like,
to. And then there
do you
was
remember
also
the chaos?
Tara as well. What was she called?
Tara.
Tara Pom. Oh my
Oh,
god.
Tara Palmer Tompkinson.
There we go.
Yeah.
Close enough.
There's
The
no
socialite-
chance I could
socialite
say that, by the way.
model.
See, I was
Yeah.
good. I was close.
Who
Didn't
did
she?
she get with?
Don't know. There was Darren Day.
Oh, maybe.
I don't know.
That was.
But Darren Day even
years
came
ago.
out recently saying that he decided to go cold turkey in the jungle.
Oh my god.
Why would you do something like that? That's mad.
But yeah.
Um,
And did he cope okay? That seems a bit extreme.
but you hear it a lot because even Spencer Matthews did it, but he had to pull
There is
out.
someone on Love Island who I think definitely did that.
Really?
Yeah, I think that was.
Who?
I'm not going to say.
Was it
I'm not gonna
on
say.
the last series you did or the first series?
Don't know.
He's like, I'm gonna just
No, in
drop
a,
that in.
what I mean it in a positive sense. I think they were in a place where they were going out a lot with a lot of friends in a bad crowd, and I think that they actually ended up in the show for quite a while, and they were just
I know who you mean.
the most positive way. Like, I was better when I came out.
Oh, yeah, well, you could say that, couldn't you? Because you can't drink when you're in Love Island, or you get like a couple glasses.
It's like, do you know them mini cans of San Miguel on the plane, the airplane? 2 of them.
Wow, per night?
Pretty much, yeah.
Wow.
Oh my God, what would you do to get really drunk? I would be like, well, I'm not eating all night, all day.
That's what Samira did.
And then literally neck the two so you can feel some sort of buzz.
I actually really applaud that though, because you know in Big Brother when they would ply them all with alcohol and then there'd be fights and arguments.
Yeah,
and
Nicola McLean was saying like she was absolutely bladdered most nights, and then she was like, I think the producers were actually like giving her more alcohol, and they're just but then they stopped that after a while though.
Yeah. So
Plus,
I think
there's no pizza kebab shop, is there? Like, where do you go after it?
Yeah. Sorry, Julie.
Yeah. No, but I just think it's worthwhile doing it that way. You know, having people sober, and obviously they're in a bit more of a better mindset too. They want to link up with or whatever. Otherwise,
I think it's
just
really good training for you. You know, I would say that it massively builds up you. Think about the average 18 to 23, 24-year-old. How many times do they approach, for a man, I would say, how many times do you approach a woman? 9 times out of 10, I would say my friends are drunk.
Oh,
And then I think it gives you this sort of like a bit of a schooling into, right, this is how you approach people sober. I think modern day, minus Tinder, minus Hinge, Bumble, whatever the apps are, and minus being drunk, quite a lot of the time, people don't go up and speak to them. Like, when was the last time someone spoke to you on the street?
Something that actually happened a few days ago.
Oh, I really like. What do you want? Go away.
But, you know,
I always cock block myself every time. Yeah, no, that is true. Or like when people come and talk to you in the gym, like, yeah, what do you want?
I think that's a bit. I don't really like that.
I don't like that.
No.
It's normally when guys like, oh, if you just bend your knees like, I'd be like, back off, bitch. I know how to do a squat. Yeah. Who do you think is going to win I'm a Celebrity?
I don't know. It's so hard to know because I know it's changing all the time. Although Tony Bellew, though, is apparently the bookies' favourite at the moment.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, you don't watch I'm a Celebrity, but he literally had to dive into a snake. A snake, like, it's I don't know what you call it, like they made a big snake. And he's just so funny and so dry in some of the things that he said. Like on the challenge before, he was like, oh my God, there's a white snake on me. Like, this is poisonous, it's poisonous. And I think this is where Ant and Dec were really, really good. Because when he was in this challenge, he was like, oh, there's a white snake, is it poisonous? And then I think it was like, Dec was like, yep, it's white. So it is, he's just so easy to play along with. Like, he's just so good. I really like him.
And I really like Vassal Marfin because I think he's so sweet, and then you can tell he's really missing Rochelle, and he speaks a bit about their relationship, and I know he's just such a nice guy, and I like some of the stories he shared about their relationship.
So I've actually got a really cute story on Marvin, like way back when I was about 23, when I was getting into presenting. He actually invited me into the Capitol studios with his producer to get like work experience, like just for his show. Like he didn't have to do any. And I was like, I really want to get into radio presenting. Can you help us out? And I sat in. Well, I didn't approach him. I approached his producer, but he could. Marvin could have quite easily just turned around and was just like, no, like I don't want this person in my studio. But they allowed me in the studio. Call it fast forward like 3 or 4 years. I got onto Capital Extra, which is down the hall from Capital while he was still on. And I tell you what, every time I bumped into Marvin at like events or like our global nights out, he used to always be like, oh, how you doing, Em? He was just such a good guy.
Yeah,
like
I
there's
really
nothing bad I can say about that guy. He's just so lovely.
Yeah, I know. He's really sweet.
He
and I
is.
love did you hear the story that he shared about when he got Rochelle pregnant?
Oh, like he had one day. It was
Yeah.
like one
Night with her. He hadn't seen her in like 6 weeks.
Hey, look.
Or
Good
was it
genes
2
there,
months?
aren't they? Or
Really
one
good
shot wonder.
swimmers.
And then
Oh, so he pinpointed it. It had
yeah,
to be
they
that
I
time.
don't know
one
if he
night
planned
together
it, mind
in New
you.
York, and then he had to go back to her, and she had to go do her thing.
Yeah.
And then literally she was pregnant. So, yeah.
I don't know if they planned it, but it happened that time. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was very Yeah,
So I'm sure
he's
their daughter
cute.
will love hearing that story when she's older. But
Oh my god, could you imagine? Marvin's good. Josie, I feel like she's still funny, but she's kind of lost her spark a little bit at the moment.
How long is it? How long's the show?
It's gonna finish this weekend. I
is it?
think.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah, because
So
they're
I
only
think
in
it
there
lasts
for
a
3
month.
weeks.
3 weeks. Is
Yeah.
it 3
Yeah.
weeks, 4 weeks? So it's
Yeah.
near in the end now. The first person was evicted last night.
Yeah.
So this is the start of it. But yeah, I've enjoyed it. I'm going to be sad when it's over though, because it is good TV.
Yeah. Yeah, it is anything really good this year. Talking about celebrities and goss at the moment, what is in the news? What has been hot topic?
Well, at the minute, as we mentioned earlier about Kourtney Kardashian possibly getting back with Tristan.
Oh my god. Now, Adam, are
So-
you a fan of Keeping Up with the Kardashians? Or the Kardashians?
Do you know what? I think.
Adam looks really stressed.
He's like, actually, you know, like it's my
Was it-
guilty
Which
pleasure.
one is that?
She's the third
No,
sister.
I was
Oh,
joking.
right.
by the way. I was joking. I think everyone's got a bit of a guilty pleasure of like wanting to know and find out
Yeah.
what's going on. But
Yeah, I
yeah,
love
I
that
wouldn't like to be in a pub quiz. I wouldn't take the Kardashian section, put it that way.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's funny you say that, actually, that there's rumours that they're back together, because I don't know if you watched the most recent series of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, but Chloe's always like, yeah, he's just here helping with this, but we're not together.
Yeah.
And then everything is just like, yeah, but we're not together. We're not together. But he's literally done everything he can to get back in the good book with the family. Like, even spoke to all of the sisters, and let's face it, not all of them like him.
But I just hope not, because he has treated her so badly on such a bad scale of humiliation. I mean, getting other women pregnant when he's
True.
with her and
Oh,
she's
this one. Now
Yeah.
I've got it.
Yeah.
I'm with
Yes,
you.
so it started off with
she deserves
like
so much better than that.
and he also slept with Kylie Jenner's best friend Jordan,
yeah.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
remember this one.
and then Chloe was gonna. What was it? She's having a kid via surrogacy,
And then he got his
the-
personal
said something
trainer
about personal
pregnant. Wasn't that it?
She's a bit who?
Then he got his personal trainer pregnant.
Oh, was that who it was?
Yeah. So he also did
Oh, so I didn't know who it was.
Yeah. And I mean, it's just like relentless.
He's got the same sperm as Marvin, hasn't he? Jesus Christ.
But what gets me, like, why not wrap that shit up? You know, if you know that you're gonna have a kid with somebody else, and then
So he's got 3 women pregnant.
Yeah. Well, no, he's had 2 children to her, then the other child to this personal trainer, and then he also was a
He
child
always
to another from a previous relationship, and he's what, 32?
he's
So-
only 32.
Mhm. So she's like 38. So not that there's anything wrong with age gaps, but I just think she needs someone a bit more
Okay, so
faithful.
I think it's very hard, because my opinion on this, I think it's hard because she's got a family, but he's trying everything he can, but I still think it's very, very fresh and raw. I think if it's meant to be in years down the line, once you've tried different relationships. But I think there's too much rawness, so I don't think they get back together.
But the fact that he cheated on her during the first pregnancy,
Ugh.
and
yeah.
then a second time when
Yeah,
she,
no,
like,
I know.
come on,
I think there's too much hate
that's
there.
wild.
Yeah.
So she was pregnant while he cheated on her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the first time, and she found out literally just before she was about to give birth. I mean, that must have been so traumatic for her. Plus, he cheated with her sister's best friend.
Okay, flip this the other
I
way
mean,
around,
it's just
right?
so
And it
messy.
was
She needs
Chloe
to-
doing that. Do you think he would give her a time of day? No.
No.
So why is it any different? And this is where it's just like female male stereotypes
Yeah.
and like.
So then she
So
took him
different.
back, and then they decided to have a second child via surrogate, and then he got someone else pregnant.
God, that boy just doesn't know what
So,
to do.
and when I
Maybe-
watch that show, he's quite boring as well, and the things he says is so corny. I'm like, what is she even seeing him? I really hope he's not watching this.
It's
but-
weird though, isn't it? Like, I
Just
think
addicted to the dick. It's
someone-
probably just, you know.
some people just have a little bit of a pull over them, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, there's
there's
2
some-
people, and I think you've got to break it off, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes it's probably
So,
hard to do
Watch
that.
the space.
Oh my God. And then finally, chit chat. Isn't there going to be Love Island All Stars in January?
There is.
OMG. Is it just going to be just like normal, just everybody that's been.
And is this going to be just UK? Because I know they're doing it in America at the minute.
No, I think that's the games, isn't it? With Maya
Oh,
Dama. Yeah, I'm not a fan of that. I haven't watched that.
okay.
But I
Yeah.
think it's going to be proper All Stars.
So it's going to be All Stars, and I actually did get asked before Laura.
Did you?
Yeah,
Wow.
and that was. But I also got asked about the games, and I thought it was the same thing.
Yeah.
And then obviously I've seen the games, and Jack Fowler won it.
Ah, yeah.
And who else has been on it? Oh, from the English sort
Oh,
of.
Curtis Pritchard.
Curtis was on it, yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, anyway, there was a few of them, but I think this is going to be just straight up date and relationships, normal Love Island, but with people that have been on the show before. But I think it's like it's going to be a bit of a struggle because every single person there is gonna know what's gonna happen, and like when things are gonna, you can sense when there's gonna be drama.
Yeah.
And what mean by that is, especially for me when I went on the second time, I could tell when something was going to kick off because I could see the cameras moving around people.
Yeah.
And like,
And do you have like cameramen inside the villa? It's
they're
not
in these
just
little
like
huts. So you never really see them. You just hear them rattling around. But obviously, there's hundreds of cameras, okay, and they're all these little fine-tuned ones. But then there's the 4 big ones, and when those big ones start moving, you either know that Laura, or when it was Caroline was coming in, or Maya Jama, or something big was going to happen.
Yeah,
And
something's going down.
so like when Rosie was coming at me, I knew she was coming because I could see the cameras moving first. You know,
she's
brilliant.
probably had a little chat in the little diary room, and you're just like out for war. Okay, so this is the part of the show where we ask our fans and our viewers to write some dilemmas, and we've got a really good one because this is a dating dilemma, and of course we've got our lovely Adam, which is going to give us
So I'm
some
the
advice.
First
Boy
ever
on the
oh,
show,
yeah.
which is amazing. I love this. I love this listening inside a guy's brain. Okay, here it goes. I've been dating this guy for 4 months, but he still hasn't asked me to be his girlfriend. For context, I've been seeing this guy for 4 months. We've met each other's families, been on holiday together. So why hasn't he asked me to be his girlfriend yet? I know we are essentially in a relationship, but I'm tired of everybody asking me, is he your boyfriend yet? How should I approach this with him? As I would like to have a label put on it, but not sure how he will feel and whether he wants a relationship.
So has the guy has also introduced her to his family?
Yeah, they've seen each other's families.
Do you have the ages of these people?
No, but this is what I was thinking when I read this dilemma.
The only thing is it could be really as simple as like he could just think, do I sound young if I go, do you want to be my girlfriend? Like
Yeah.
it sounds a bit
Yeah.
kiddish, if you know what I mean. Does he just think it and she just hasn't asked him, like, are we boyfriend and girlfriend? And he might just turn around and just be, oh yeah, I thought we were anyway.
It's funny. Something actually happened like that with me years ago. And I think I remember saying to him, I was like, I met the friends, went to New Year's together and all of this, like, you were in a relationship. I was like, so what is this? He was like, oh, we're way past that now. Like, we're boyfriend and girlfriend. Like, and it was just so like, oh, okay, cool. Like, no one asks if you were your boyfriend and girlfriend anymore. It is just it.
I mean, that's the positive answer anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the fact that he's introduced her to his family and they went on holiday, it sounds like he's being serious and genuine. Where if he didn't do that and they still hadn't put a label on it, then I might be worried.
I think also she, and I don't mean to sound horrible on this, but it just obviously screams a lot of like insecurities. Like if you're confident in yourself, you shouldn't give 2 shits what other people ask, or if you're boyfriend and girlfriend, if you care so deeply on what other people's opinions are, then maybe do a little bit of work on that, because ultimately, like, if you're with this person makes you happy, whether it's short, whether it's long, like, enjoy the time that you have with that person. If he's not causing you any ag and you're enjoying yourself, like,
I
leave
disagree,
it.
you know. I think that I like a clear boundary.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. I would like to know, like, right, we're boyfriend and girlfriend, that's it, done.
I mean,
know?
I
And
agree with
I don't mean
you.
that in like I think in modern day society there is so many external factors that really, to be quite honest, even though it's my job, Instagram have a negative impact.
Yeah.
I think it's better to be a little bit clear with that. I think it helps.
God, where are more people like you? And
Don't say that.
But I know we would have been saying that like a few years ago. But no, honestly, yeah, I like it clear. Like a boyfriend and girlfriend, where we're gonna. I know we've discussed about dating earlier on in the show, but it's just not. Everything's blurred. Lines are blurred.
Boys are a lot more insecure than what you think.
Oh,
as
I
well,
know.
Compared
Really?
to
Yeah.
definitely. Like I think that there's a lot of boys out there that would want the same sort of answer to know where they stand. Like they
Yeah.
probably overthink just as much.
Mm.
I said on the podcast, another podcast that was, I was the first male on it, and it blew their mind. I was like, because they were saying girls check the WhatsApp online thing all the time. And
I got
said,
rid of that.
So did I.
You know that boys do all of that as well.
Yeah.
Like, that's not just a
Really?
you thing. I was like,
Yeah.
yous are not.
I
Like,
got rid of that because I was just like, I don't want to know.
yeah, the two girls were like, oh, we're nuts. Like we check the online thing all the time. I'm like, boys do that as well, but like probably just when something doesn't feel right, or like you are tense, or you are arguing, or you don't know where you stand, or you're
Yeah.
seeing each other, or your boyfriend, girlfriend. It's exactly the same.
Oh yeah.
It's good
And
to
they
know.
also have private accounts, fake accounts, because I know somebody. Someone openly said to me, because I blocked him. He was like, "You blocked me and my private account too." I was like, "Oh, I didn't know you had one, but
Wow.
now I do." And I'm like, "But I still don't know which one it was."
Wow.
But yeah, so yeah, they do. So it's quite interesting. So what we saying?
Just ask him a question.
Ask the question.
Ask him the question. Just be
Yeah.
like, look, what
And
is it?
That happened with my friend as well. She was seeing this guy, and she thought in the early days as well, she was like, well, what the hell is this? Is this like a friendship or what? But anyway, they're now married with 2 children. So I guess guys sometimes are a wee bit embarrassed to ask that, or, especially when you're in your 30s then. I don't think a lot of people have that conversation. You just take it for granted that yous are together.
Yeah, I mean, I did ask.
Yeah.
You did ask?
Yeah.
Oh, it's so freaking cute. Oh my god, I
nice.
need to ask you more advice on my dating life, but we're not going to do that on camera. Thank you so much, Adam and Julie, for joining me on the latest show of Getting Lippy. Stay tuned for more celebrity showbiz news, and we'll be back in the new year with more goss.